For most of us, this year, Halloween is less about covering ourselves in face paint and fake blood, and more about staying indoors and celebrating the spooky season from home. To help you do just that, we've compiled a list of 7 fantastically scary horror games to play this Halloween. From jump scares to creepy doll children, these games have everything you need to make sure you don't sleep a wink come October 31st. We've ordered them in what we think is the least to most scary, so if you hang around to the end of the video, congratulations, you're far braver than I am. But without further ado, here are 7 horror games to play this Halloween. Little Nightmares. There's a fairy tale feel to Little Nightmares' strange world, but it's a darkly unpleasant one, and certainly not suitable for kids unless you want to scar them for life. Focusing on a strange little character in a yellow Mac, you have to escape the moor, a never really explained location full of snuffling, twitchy, grotesque creatures out to get you. One minute you're trying to sneak past a contorted blind man's impossibly long arms, the next you're running from a tidal wave of flopping obese restaurant gluttons. It's disturbingly beautiful, and the perfect time to play as the sequel is due out early next year. AMNESIA REBIRTH. Building on the themes of memory loss, pursuing monsters and otherworldly magics, AMNESIA REBIRTH builds on the previous games in the series to deliver a tense, playable slice of horror fiction. There's almost a literary feel to the game as you explore the darkness as Tassie, a French explorer lost in the desert. Familiar mechanics like failing sanity return, which is eroded by the dark or looking at monsters, but this time contained within a much more coherent and enticing story. There are some great puzzles, horrible monsters, but it's the narrative that binds it together. The monster encounters can be horrific and stressful, but it's the space between where the story expands and twists and turns that really sells it. Until Dawn. You've likely heard of survival horror Until Dawn before, a game about a group of teens in an isolated mountain cabin who find that some heinous entity is set on killing them off. It's not all fun and games, the characters will die gruesome deaths if you can't navigate Until Dawn's horror movie logic, and it takes every opportunity to scare the bejesus out of you. While many games on this list are here because of their fear factor alone, Until Dawn earns a spot for more meta reasons too. It's willfully, soulfully entrenched in horror tradition, and uses these tropes brilliantly. It's packed with winks to the slasher genre, and you'll still love the ridiculous twists even if you see them coming from a mile away. You'll laugh as much as you scream, if not more, and few horror games capture that sense of grisly fun so well. If you've already given Until Dawn a try though, Supermassive also have 2 parts of their 3-part Dark Pictures anthology released for jump scares aplenty. Outlast. Outlast offers a first-person trek through a setting literally no one in real life would willingly check out. An old asylum that seems abandoned, but also strangely active. At night, in the mountains, miles from help. Who does that? The setup alone is perfect horror fodder, but this plays out like found footage the game, via a clever use of a video camera's night vision mode to see in the dark. The grainy, glowing green view it creates gets a little too close to real life as well. It's 1 part exploring, 2 parts follow shadowy wheezing shapes in the black distance through a viewfinder while cowering behind a table. It's a great game to play with company as well, because you'll both be screaming at some point. Layers of fear. Most games can make you jump, they can make you scream, but few can make you doubt yourself in real life. Layers of Fear initially appears very familiar as you explore a spooky, creepy, and cavernously empty house. The gothic story unravels slowly as you play an unnamed artist returning home. It soon becomes clear though that madness has overtaken the painter, and it expresses itself in the unreliable narration of the physical world. Doors disappear, corridors warp, the game rearranges itself in such a way to recreate the main character's madness that only a few hours in and you'll find yourself questioning everything. Was that desk on that side of the room last time you looked? Are you sure? To put it simply, this is one of the greatest horror games of all time. Alien Isolation. Countless games have been inspired by elements of the Alien franchise, but Alien Isolation may be the series' greatest gaming triumph. It takes the gut-wrenching fear fostered by the lone xenomorph in the original film and extends it to a lengthy game. Isolation's tense survival gameplay keeps the pulse pounding for hours and hours. You take on the role of Ripley's daughter Amanda, searching a derelict space station for her mother, only to find the same beast she fought. You're constantly on guard from the cinematic AI of your alien hunter. This means holding your breath as you narrowly avoid detection or screaming in terror after failing to reach safety. The atmosphere the game sustains is impressive enough, and it deserves even more credit for taking the Xenomorph, a movie monster bordering on cliché due to overexposure, and making it terrifying once again. Resident Evil 7. It could have been a disaster, a clunky, forced update to the revered series that left fans clamouring for the bombastic nonsense of Resident Evil 6. But Resi 7 is a triumph, smartly feeding off the best horror movies of the last 20 years to create a modern reinvention of the series. The central story is fantastic, the mysteries artfully concealed, and your tormentors, the Bakers, are brilliantly subversive. It's grueling, compelling stuff in a setting you'll remember long after exploring it up close. But perhaps the cleverest trick is just how Resi it all feels. The safe rooms have the same sense of unsettling respite, ammo feels desperately scarce, and the boss fights have the right mix of terror and glowing, oozing bits to shoot. So there you have it, 7 games to keep you suitably spooked this season. But which one will you be taking on this Halloween? And how else will you be celebrating? Let us know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.